Hi everyone, this is your quick little instruction video on how to complete your assignment using the article that you received in class called Eating Crickets Can Be Good for Your Gut According to New Clinical Trial. So when you received this article, you were supposed to read it and annotate it. And when you're annotating science articles, it's always a good idea to highlight or underline anything that really stands out at you that might be a who, a what, a where, a when, a why. Why is a good one, and a how. Those are always really good for science. Another thing to kind of consider, especially because in this first unit, we've learned about the characteristics of life and the scientific method. Are any of those things in the article? So did we see an observation that the people in the article made, and did they talk about how that observation led to a question? And then did you read somewhere in there about a hypothesis, and then perhaps the steps to an experiment and what could have been the controls in the experiment? And then eventually leading to here are the results and now a conclusion. So those things, if you have not done that, you need to do that first, because if you don't read this first and try to make sense of the assignment and just fill in the blanks as you go, it's really going to make it difficult. And again, I want to stress, you have to be able to do this all by yourselves come test time next week. And yes, the test date has been moved up to next week. So just keep that in mind. I'll explain more when I am back though. Okay, so let's move on to the assignment. Assignment 8, what you're going to do is you're going to take that article and you've got to read these instructions really carefully and follow them. Use the article to recreate the process the researchers used to complete their experiment. The steps of the scientific method aren't going to be extremely clear, so you have to read the article multiple times. And it might be helpful to use the backside of the paper to create a timeline, which is kind of what I was telling you guys to do once you got the article, is to use this space here to figure that out and take some notes in that space. You are going to turn this in with your assignments. So what you need to do is make sure that you have your first and last name right here, and then also your period number. You do not need to staple these. I don't have a million staples right now. So instead of stapling, just make sure that you do have your name on both papers. And then when you turn them in, make sure that you turn them in like this so that your article is underneath your assignment page. But turn both of them in today. So you're going to use that article, and you are going to go through and you're going to give me all of this information. Give me the name of the article, the published date, the source of the article. Well, here's your source right here. I mean, it says it printed out here. Then you're going to tell me what was the observation that was made in the article. So where did you read an observation that they made? And you've got to give me evidence for all of these little pieces. So by evidence, I'm talking about things like you're going to tell me which paragraph you read it in, and then also maybe which line. Again, you have to be able to do that on your test, because that's going to show that you not only read the article, but you understood how to find those really important pieces and components within the article. So here's what I recommend that you do on your article. Starting right here with this first handwritten paragraph that I wrote in for you guys, I would number every paragraph. So that's number 1. Then this one, I was on a trip. Number 2, today. 3, it shows. 4, there is. 5, and keep going all the way through until you get to the very back and the very last one here. But each of those is a paragraph. So if you found the observation in the very last paragraph, paragraph 27, or whatever number it ends up being, then what you would do is you would write paragraph 27, and then tell me which line. If it was on the 3rd line right through here, then you would say paragraph 27, line 3. And that's it. That's all you have to do for that part. And then you're going to find the question and then tell me where you found it. Paragraph 7, line 1. And then where was the what is the hypothesis and where did you find it? What was the control variable, or what are controlled variables in this experiment, and where did you find it? And you keep going through the entire scientific method process all the way through further questions. The further questions is not optional. This is something that you definitely should be reading about in the article. In the article, they talk about things that they kind of come across and now are curious about after going through all of this and want some more information on. So it's not an optional thing. They definitely discuss further questions in here. Make sure that you do read and look for those and then write those down. This is not something that I expect you to get done in 15 minutes or even 20 minutes. I really want you to take your time on this so that you understand how to find every single one of those things in a science article, and so that you ace that part of your test when we take our test. All right, if you have questions, just keep trying your best to work through it. It should be turned in today, both pieces. There's no need for you to get done in 15 minutes, but it's also not meant to take an hour. So please make sure that you are staying focused, you get it done, and you get both of these turned in. Again, the assignment page on top of the article, make sure that you put your first and last name on the article, and we should be good to go.